How are
Hi.
you today?
I'm good. Yeah, and it's a lovely day, beautiful sunshine. Yeah.
It is beautiful. I've just had a really lovely walk and did a bit of dawdling because it was so beautiful and listening to the birds. So that was a really good start.
Yeah.
So we would just want to have a chat today about our money mindset workshop and why we decided to do it. So how about you introduce yourself first and let everybody know who you are and why money mindset is important to you?
Okay. Well, my name's Rafe Nowen, and I've been doing um, constellation work and therapy work for about 15, 19 years, something like that. And before that, I had a varied career of doing all sorts of things. Um, and I realized um, rather late on that all the businesses that I'd done had looked successful looking back, but never looked successful looking while I was in it. They never looked. It. I never felt like I had as much money as I needed or anything like that. But I always had enough. But enough was only just enough. When I had so much money for a car, it was exactly that amount that I had. There wasn't any leeway. And as I've got older, I've um, yearned a bit more leeway and realized that it was the actually the mindset that was holding me back, nothing else. It wasn't luck or, you know, cash in the bank really at all. It was just my mindset that was stopping me from doing that. Um,
So tell me a brief bit about constellation therapy and how you got into that.
Well, when my second wife died, she'd been ill for a while, and I found myself I because of my childhood, I'd always taken responsibility for everything that was wrong because I'd been blamed for everything that went on in the family because I was one of those kids that I would climb up the curtains and I was just I got into trouble.
Normal.
Yeah, normal. Yeah, exactly that. And but when I found myself feeling that I was being made to feel responsible for my wife's demise, I knew I needed help, and I knew that wasn't appropriate. And I went to see a psychotherapist in Derby, Isaac Pizer, a lovely man, and we started off on a traditional psychotherapeutic route, but very rapidly, probably the second session, he realised that the blockages that I was holding were nothing to do with me, and they belong in the ancestral field behind me. And he knew he'd trained in constellations, but he wasn't confident in doing constellations himself, but he sent me to a workshop in London, and it just clicked. I just I was just blown away by that ability to see where things belonged and to leave them there, and it just fitted so perfectly that I decided that I didn't I was a computer consultant at the time, and I was fed up with climbing under desks in dirty hotels and looking for the things that were wrong with the computers, and felt I needed something new to tackle. And so I trained to do constellation therapy, and it's just been absolutely amazing. And I mean, I added things into it as well, but that was the principle. So
Yeah.
when we started looking at money mindsets, it became obvious, and I had looked at it before with somebody else as well. This the idea that these ideas, these mindsets, get laid on you, and that we could do something about it. But I didn't really have the tools to 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 deal with it once you've got there. Okay, I've got a rubbish mindset. What the hell do I do with it? I don't like what my parents told me about money, but what am I going to do? I'm stuck
Yeah.
with it.
Where
And
do
then
you go then?
and then when you and I talked, and when you and I did the piece of work for me about mindset, it all clicked into place, and we realized that this combination works brilliantly.
Yeah, and it does. I think it's worked better than we even imagined it would work. And I think a lot of us who work in these sort of fields of helping people come to it via a route of having trouble ourselves and things that have happened to
Yeah.
us, and then we seek the help, and when the help works we go, oh great, let's pass that on to someone else.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened to me. I started
Yeah.
my own personal development journey 12 years ago, actually, almost exactly just before my
Yeah.
daughter was born. And I had postnatal depression with my first daughter and found it really hard to get help for that. So when I then had my second daughter, I came into the world of NLP and Reiki and all the energy type work that we do. And it was just mind blowing, as you say, it just changes everything, things click. So again, before I even met you, I had done some money mindset work because I was one of those people that couldn't look at my bank statements, couldn't look at my app in case I didn't have enough money in the bank, would go to the teller and go, oh, is this going to work today? And just pray. So my whole money mindset was around praying that it was all going to be okay, that there was money in the bank to pay for the groceries, that both me and my partner at the time had quite difficult money mindsets. And as you say, money would always appear, but not really in a healthy way, not in a easy, relaxed way that didn't cause great anxiety. So my whole money world was anxious,
Yeah.
um, constant anxiety. So I did a lot of NLP and coaching work about 2 years ago, because when I realized that I wanted to set up a business and be self-employed and charge people, oh
Mm.
my word.
That's frightening, isn't it? Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't have a good money mindset, then charging people and taking
Yeah.
money, and when you've got a helping mindset and you want to help people, and then you've got to charge them for helping you, for helping them, oh my goodness.
I know.
I was like, it was crashing all around. And I thought, no, I have to get a handle on this. I have to, if I want to run a business and if I want to live a life and be self sufficient and be financially stable for my children and help people at the same time, I need to get a grip around charging people
Yeah.
and about what's going into my bank account, what's coming out of my bank account. I couldn't be going la 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 la. let's hope it's all okay.
Yeah.
So doing that work transformed things for me. It was really amazing. Just how everything, and even now sometimes my parents occasionally very kindly say to me, oh, but you're not very good at charging people. And I say, no, that's not true anymore.
Mm.
That's the old me.
Yeah.
That's not me now. And they're really starting to learn and see it as we go along.
Mm.
So they're seeing really big changes in my mindset too,
Yeah.
which is excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. When people validate it from the outside, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to find that I had a price, which I knew about, and somebody would say, well, how much do you charge? And I'd name that price. And then I'd say, but if you da 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 da, and let them off the hook. And they would come for half that price, or whatever. Sometimes I got away with it and I would charge full whack, and sometimes I felt awful about doing that, and that's not there anymore.
No, and it's about knowing your worth and what your worth is to others. And I find that if you do things for less, it's often not valued as much.
That's correct.
So it's about the person also taking responsibility for their own money and their mindset around it, and
Yeah.
taking responsibility for coming on self development programs or investing in themselves. And if they're
Yeah.
going to invest in themselves, what else do you give up? You could give up the Friday night takeaway, or you could give up the extra hair appointment, or the nails, or the cars, or whatever it is, for that period of time to work on yourself and invest on yourself. People can do that. They do it for holidays, they do it for all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
investing in yourself long term for a thing that can last forever, and it really does last forever, and it's a continuous evolvement of movement. um, we can't take responsibility for that as practitioners. We have to trust that our clients want to do the work and they value the work.
That's right. Yeah.
So tell everybody about what your role is in our money mindset workshop.
Well, the thing that changed for me was acknowledging what money mindset had been laid down for me, and that I really needed to get a handle on that before I could tackle what I needed to change. And one of the things about humans and children and parents and all that sort of thing is about loyalty. And we were born with a design feature which is about loyalty. We're supposed to be loyal to the systems that we belong to, because otherwise we get excluded and feel abandoned. So we make sure that we're loyal to those systems. And I realized that the where these mining mindsets come from is really important to the process. So what we've factored in is what we start off with is a kind of um, almost a ceremony of going back to a time when we were little, and just going into a slightly meditative state where we're looking at what was going on when we were children in relation to money. And it's extraordinary what comes up in those things, the words that come up. And sometimes, when we've got, half a dozen people on the workshop, what seems to happen is one person will say a word and another person is picking up on it.
Yeah.
And that cross pollination of these words, and you realize that some people's the words that they had as a child. I mean, my issue was that the word savings was a real nightmare,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a problem if you want to have more money, because you have to save some money, but we changed it into investment and it was fine. So the part of the process that I do is we do this bit of work at the beginning, which identify, and what I'll do is get people to write the name of their mum or the dad or both or whoever was around when they were a child, and it may be that they were, you know, they had no parents around, no birth parents around, they just had foster parents around. It could be those situations, and they just identify with them. And remarkably, with the constellation model, just identifying with them is enough.
Mm.
And your body knows, your body remembers. It doesn't, you don't have to have a cognitive awareness of what was actually said. You just have to allow your body to reveal what it remembers. When we do that, we come up with all these words and understandings, and people are in tears sometimes, and there's all sorts of things going on, and then we get to a place where people have assembled a catalogue of stuff that belongs to their history, that they want to leave in their history and move it on into the present, where they take responsibility for their own place in it, and it gives them the opportunity to leave it behind.
Mm. And the shifts that I've witnessed with the clients we've had doing that have been really amazing. As you say,
Yeah,
people get very emotional. It's losing a lot of weight, and you
yeah,
can visibly see the weight sort of
yes,
dropping off and lifting.
yeah,
And that causes quite an emotional connection or
yeah,
disconnection. So the way we've seen it happening has just been amazing.
yeah, yeah. So having got this, they've kind of got a catalogue in front of them of things that they want and things they don't want, and the things they don't want have been left behind, and then the things they want, I mean, and then your bit comes in, and you take on the things that were a problem for them, or maybe a word has come up in a funny context, like mine. The word savings. What the hell do you do with somebody who goes like that when you say savings? It's like,
Yeah, and you're right. The words that have come up that we've worked on have been interesting. We had
oh,
one that was ease, and the word
yes,
ease really caused a massive block for
yeah,
one of the people on the course, and that's not something you would expect.
no,
But when they heard the word ease, it was a real physical, like ooh. And I actually, when people were telling me the words, I was noticing reactions and sort of highlighting the ones that caused reactions. And some of them are really not what you would expect. We've had words like security and
Yeah.
stability, giving people real problems.
Yeah.
So my job at that point is to use NLP techniques to disassociate those negative feelings with these quite positive words so that they can then
Yeah.
use them to their advantage rather than blocking themselves from it all the
Yeah.
time. And again, the profound shifts that are created within that are amazing to watch. Like you
Yeah.
can actually watch it on screen, which you don't
Yeah.
always, I think a lot of people are reluctant to do this sort of thing on Zoom because they feel like they won't get the connection, but we've very much seen connection and
Oh,
being
yeah.
able to read body language and emotion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been quite amazing for us, I think, to witness that as well.
Yeah.
And then after the moving all of that stuff and all the shifts that we've done, we look to the future and work out a plan of action. So everybody who leaves the workshop leaves with their plan of action. And it could be something really small. We've had people who just want to clear out a room in their house because they know that clearing that will clear a lot of other stuff to enable them to move forward. We've had people setting up whole businesses literally in the 3 hours.
They got the name of the business in the workshop, didn't they?
Yeah. So we've had some amazing
Yeah.
outcomes of what people then want to go on to do after they've done that 3 hours. So it's not about coming here and just kind of listening to us talking at you, which
No.
is why we limit it to 10 because it's incredibly interactive
Mm.
and it really is deep work and we want to be able to see everybody on the screen. So that's why it's limited numbers because it's
Yeah.
not just us sort of talking at people and telling them
Yeah.
what to do. It's really doing the work. And then moving on to what's next in life. And what's next in life is what coaching's all about. It's about working out your plan and moving forward. And that's caused some interesting reactions too, with people not really knowing, but coming out at the other side of the workshop with some awareness of
Yeah.
the fact that they didn't know even
Yes.
having the knowledge and the awareness that you don't know what you want or what's
Yeah.
right for you is a real benefit
Yeah.
because then you can start looking at that.
And the age groups that have been involved in the workshop so far have been quite interesting. We've had
Mm,
people in their 40s, but they've most people have been sort of in their 60s, 70s even, and it's quite interesting that people in at that stage in life, haven't sorted it out. I self-included. I'm 70, and I recognise that I've rolled along and been comfortable all my life. It's been, I haven't been destitute, I haven't been homeless, all those things that lots of people are. So it wasn't from that point of view, it's just a shift in that whole mindset.
and it's interesting you say that because I was 41 and my NLP practitioner master said to me, why have you just come to this now? You've done self development for 10 years. Why now? And I said, well, it just wasn't a priority. I
Yeah,
was working on everything else. So
yeah,
I was working on my anxiety. I was working on other
yeah,
mindset issues. It just wasn't the thing that came to mind at
yeah,
that moment. I was working on relationships, all sorts of things. And now was the time when I was setting up my business that I really wanted to work on it. And a lot of the people that come to our workshop have got to this stage in life where maybe their partners aren't around anymore to do the financial stuff that has always been done
hmm,
by their partners, or they've just realized that actually they want more for themselves. And it doesn't matter how old you are, an age isn't a barrier to restarting anything.
no,
I've heard many stories of ladies actually in their 80s starting degrees.
hmm,
And people can do amazing things in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's not a block. But
no,
imagine what they could have done if they dealt with this in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and
yeah,
had that extra 30 years worth of living
yeah,
without these blocks. And that's not something that you can look at now. We can only
yeah.
move forward from today.
I mean, I think the biggest surprise to me really has been how sticky the stuff we've done is. Talking to people, a month later, and they're still riding the wave.
Yeah.
And I felt the same myself. When I'm charging, my attitude is different, and it just feels permanently different. It doesn't
Hmm.
feel, it's like the combination of the two styles seems to fit really, really well. I mean, this is
Well, we like working together, don't we,
we
Rafe?
do,
We just
yeah,
like having a chat. So
yeah. But
that's a
I
real
mean,
benefit.
this is the first collaboration in my life where it's just flowed easily, and you can see the results straight away, and people are, excited about it straight away. And like you said, people are setting up a business while we're talking. They got the
Yeah.
name, they got the, and completely different what they've been doing.
Yeah. We've
You just
had
ask the question, what do you want to do, kind of thing. And it just sort of flowed from that. And they realized where they'd been and why they had the attitudes behind them. And they've shifted all that. And they've sort of got this blank canvas in front of them, but they've got a picture on it.
And we've had people come on and double, triple what they're asking their clients for because all of a sudden they've realized what they're worth.
Yes.
And that's incredible that they just have the inner confidence to know that they're worth that.
Yeah.
And knowing your worth in this world now is massively important,
Yes. And
particularly for our young people.
yeah.
We need our young people to understand their worth.
Yeah. And realize they have a place, and realize that also that, I mean, something I commonly say to people is, you go into a supermarket, you don't buy all the biscuits that are on offer. You buy the ones you like. And it's the same with, it doesn't mean if they're selling loads of biscuits I don't like, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be disloyal to that supermarket. I'm going to continue to shop at that supermarket because there are things I do like. Well, I like my life, therefore I'm loyal to my parents, but I don't like some of the things they said to me and some of the things they did to me. Well, that can live with them. I don't care. It's nothing to do with me. So taking it forward, it means that, I go into the supermarket, I just buy the biscuits I want.
And it's giving yourself permission to do that and to
Yeah,
allow that in. And
yeah,
I think giving permission is a big thing for
yeah,
all of us. We need to just give ourselves permission to go and walk in the sunshine in the morning.
yeah. So we came up with this plan that we would run something like monthly workshops online at the moment, and it may continue to be online. Um, some daytime weekdays, some daytime weekends, and run it from there. And it's just working great.
Yeah, it's joyful.
Yeah,
Really is.
we look forward to it happening. The people, they're enthusiastic, can't wait for Friday, or and it's a lovely feeling.
It is.
And we haven't done so much of it yet, but we're going to do follow-ups, which are
Yeah.
sort of probably an hour or 2 hours, maybe a month or 6 weeks afterwards, just to top up and give some assistance to
Yeah.
some of the things that may have come up. I mean, sometimes you remember things that you'd chosen to forget way back in the past, and maybe there are things that have come up in the new strategy you're not happy with, and it's sort of, I really feel like I'm worth £290 an hour, but I really don't feel comfortable charging it. Sort of. So all those sorts of things.
Yeah, and we have had one client come back and
Yes,
do a follow-up, and
yes,
that was really
yes. It was.
even more shifts. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
yes. It's
And just
absolutely fascinating.
seeing the sort of physiology from the start to the end was incredible to watch.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Brilliant.
one of my favorite phrases, I think I've said it to you many times, is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today.
Yes.
And I think that's what we want our audience to go away with in mind is how long do you want to hold on to the mindsets that you've got
Yeah.
around money? And if you are fed up with worrying about money all the time and not reaching your potential, then try the workshop. We love having you. It's such great fun.
Yeah.
We work together well. We enjoy working with each other. So it's a good day. It's like good 3 hours of intense shifting.
Yeah. And nobody's had any issue with it whatsoever. They've thoroughly enjoyed it, come out of it in a better place than they started, and if anything, want to do it again.
Yeah. And in fact, a lot of the feedback has been that they've really enjoyed watching others
Yes.
experiencing it and picking up their thoughts as well and going, oh, yeah, that relates to me. I can really
Yeah.
understand that. And
Yeah.
so the collaboration, because it's a small group, has been really lovely too.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay.
Thanks, Rafe. And
Okay.
I know I'll see you shortly.
Yeah.
Take care.